Hello, and I hope this message finds you well. I wanted to talk this evening about an experience I had over my spring break, which was a couple weeks ago at this point. And I need to preface this by saying that I can often hold a judgment about certain ages, in particular high school and college aged people, many of whom I interact with because I'm a teacher. And this judgment is that these people are close-minded, especially in terms of social grouping, and can be cliquish and judgmental. And this judgment that I hold comes from my own experience in high school and college, often feeling unpopular, often feeling alienated, feeling like I didn't fit in. Um, and what happened is over the spring break, I was at a monastery and I was a bit bored. There wasn't much to do, and meditation and reading only got me so far. And so I started looking through old photos on my computer. And in particular, I came across troves of photos from high school and college. And what I perceived, much to the contrary, was that in those ages, I was completely in love with the people around me. Not all the time, and certainly not for the majority of high school, but toward the end, as it became clear we were all, going off to different colleges and would separate, we started spending more time together, we started partying together, and I saw all these photos of me with these people I really regarded as brothers and sisters, and it was evident in the way we related to each other in the photos. There was just such a closeness, such a love there. And I saw the same in college. I just saw this kind of easeful, flowing camaraderie and this joy exuding from my face in those interactions, in those groupings. This perception, I think, was enhanced by the fact that also toward the start of my spring break, I met a friend's baby for the first time. And it was a renewal of experiences I always have with newborns, which is that they're just absolutely porous, maximally porous. Their curiosity is just so abundant and so incontrovertible, and any stimulus, from the world is just seeping in, unmitigated, and in those encounters, it's so like unconscionable that one would ever hurt a baby or hurt a child. You're like, this being is just so receptive. How could I possibly damage it? How could I possibly darken that filter? Um, but this experience too reminded me that, again, contrary to this judgment I can hold about adolescents, about young people, that young people actually know how to love in a way that most adults forget. And in a sense, it's by virtue of their situation. If you think about what school is, it's all these random people thrown together and forced to form a community. Again, as a teacher, we often talk about classroom community, and in a way it's a misnomer because it's like these people are forced to be there. They don't know one another. Maybe if they could choose, they would elect, to spend their time with others, but this is the group they've been given. Yeah, and nevertheless, so young people are in these assortments that perhaps they wouldn't choose. They persevere and they find love and cohesion and brotherhood and sisterhood, in a way because they don't know any better, but also in a way because they make do with what's there, which again is a virtue that so many adults lose hold of. And so yeah, as I looked over these old photos of myself with friends, and as I interacted with this baby, it kind of turned on its head these feelings I've had about young people, and reminded me that I have much to learn from them as well, that they're open in ways that I risk being closed, right? And I came away kind of at the end of my spring break with this maxim that one could do worse than to consciously hold on to and emit that love throughout a lifetime. That love that is natural when we're young, when we're porous, before we've had these traumatizing and closing experiences. one could do worse than to consciously embrace that through a lifetime. So that is the message I came away with myself and that I wanted to impart this evening. And thank you very much for listening, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.